Hello, everybody. It's time for There's a Will. I'm Will, and I have a great guest today on the show. Thanks for watching. If you really like this, please go down and give us a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps to get more viewers. And you don't want to be alone, or you like company, right? So hit that like button, because why are we here? We do it for you. That's why we're here. At any rate, my guest today is an adventure travel expert who specializes in Africa, particularly. She's a nice lady. Her name is Eva Chojnowska Lesiak, and she's right here. There she is.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hi, Eva. What's this all about? Adventure travel. What does it mean? I mean, is it guaranteed to be adventurous, or?
It's very wide term. It's very difficult exactly to say adventure travel, because it depends, of course, of your experience. If it's your first travel somewhere abroad, everything can be adventure. Even trying a new fruit is adventure. But if you are quite experienced and if you travel quite a lot, you search for adrenaline. I think adventure is connected with adrenaline, and for me, it's adventure. It's equal to adrenaline. Like,
so your adventure travel includes adrenaline. So is there like an asterisk? Is there a star there that says adrenaline included, or?
Usually yes, and also my travels are not very easy. For example,
okay, that's it. Right.
It's not very easy. For example, it's not easy to meet tribes far from the big cities, like in Ethiopia I do, or climb to search gorillas in Congo, which is in general a very difficult place to travel, to enter. And sometimes my travels also need to have be in a good physical conditions, because being on altitude, it's demanding. It demands your body be healthy, and without this, you cannot travel. For example, in Himalaya or in Tibet, where you have like 3,600 meters or 5,300, it's difficult even to breathe if you go there, and it's adventure for me.
So we'll come back to some of these experiences. You just touched on a few. It sounds exciting. But I wonder, how did you get into adventure travel? As a young girl, did you say, good Lord, one day I want to go find the gorillas in the forest and go to the Himalayas, or practice for the Himalayas? Climbing Everest, or?
No. To start, my story, it's curious and a little bit strange, because my first travel was to China when I was, it was 10 years ago, when I was a model, and I started doing some modeling jobs, like pictures, photo shoots, catwalks, but I remember I took two entrance visa, and when I came back, I said, I cannot lose this visa. I have to come back again to China. So I passed my exams and came back to China, and it was significant 2009. When after this trip, I won pageant beauty contest.
You won what?
A beauty contest.
Where?
In Poland, but it was like a regional one. But I was the first.
The most beautiful lady in the world contest? Or?
No, the most beautiful girl in Mazovia region.
Oh, right, okay. That's where we are now. Right.
Yeah. And then, to make it very short, because the story is very long, I was in a good place, I met good people, and I made the right decision to my first trip to Africa. And it was an unusual destination, because going first time to Africa, I was Burundi, Uganda, Rwanda, and Congo. And it was my dream to visit Central Africa, because the northern part, it's, of course, Africa as a continent, but in the culture is like more extension of Middle East. And during that trip to Africa,
You mean like Egypt, etc., etc.?
No. I mean,
Morocco. This is like
this is extension. Yeah.
Algeria.
Yes, but Sahara and everything is on the south. It's for me more Africa. And during my first trip, I had opportunity to work as a tour guide, and till this moment, this is my major job, and also blogging.
So we get to blogging things. So you're a tour guide.
Yeah.
How does it work? If I take a tour with you, what do I have to do? I have to be in shape, and I have to eat healthy food. So
Not really, because sometimes...
No more cheesecake? I can still eat cheesecake occasionally?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I do everything, as you can see. Maybe you don't believe, but I do.
You do, okay. Nice.
In general, I work...
If you say so, yeah.
I work for a few travel agencies, and also on my blog you can find some trips which I am organizing. And those are not very common, like desert in Israel, and Danakil in Ethiopia, and tribes in Ethiopia. Maybe you don't know, or maybe you know. Danakil area is first of all one of the hottest places in the world, which for me is adventure and adrenaline.
Right.
And also it's the biggest depression in Africa, so it's also it's adrenaline for me. And if you want, you can join for that trip.
I can?
Sure.
What's it going to cost me? I'll sign up. Do you have a...
Just write to me, email or on Messenger. That is enough.
Okay, and what's it going to cost me to go on this adventure extravaganza?
In Polish currency, it's like 1,400 zloty. 14,000.
14,000. Not 1,400. Yeah.
No, 14,000.
Which is about $4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, something in this area.
But maybe it's a lot or not. For Polish people, it's quite a lot, and people think, oh, Africa is poor continent, and everything should be cheap there. But it's not, because usually, if you
you're staying in good places.
It's not really. But maybe you don't imagine, if you want to stay on desert, or you want to stay on the camp in the middle of a national park in savannah, you need people to work there. You need people. You need all facilities like water, electricity, and it costs a lot of money to bring in the middle of nowhere, and then the service also costs. So that's why prices are so high. And Africa, for majority of people, is not place to travel because of costs, but maybe mainly because they think everywhere is war, which is not the truth.
No, I mean, people think there's civil war everywhere.
But it's not.
It's not.
And also people think that Africa is one body, but it's connected from the different pieces, and every piece is so different. And we cannot call an Africa is a place of war. Of course, in some places there are, but in general, they feel those countries are quite safe. Everywhere something wrong can happen, but we cannot generalize.
And why are you so fascinated with Africa as opposed to South America or the Far East or even Europe? I mean,
the story is so funny. There are two things. When I was a child, my dad every weekend he took me to the sofa and say, please watch with me some TV programs about the nature, about discovering the world. So it was my routine to watch with him those documentaries. But the other thing was, when at school we had a book. It calls Tomek na Czarnym Lądzie. It's like
Tomek's adventures around the world?
But no, on the Black Land.
On the Black Land?
Like in Africa. So I have read this book. And I said,
Arthur Szklarski.
Szklarski, exactly.
I know these books.
Of course, it is Syria of different books in different places.
Yeah, Australia's one.
Yes. Yeah. Australia.
And he's collecting animals, isn't he? Sometimes?
Unfortunately, yes, he did. Szklarski, I mean, Tomek, was a hunter, and he killed animals. Thanks God.
The writer was Arthur Szklarski, that's what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
who never left Wrocław, apparently.
Really?
Yes, apparently
And
he never went on any of these trips.
And
He
do
just read National Geographic and made it up.
Really?
Yeah.
But do you know
Yeah,
that this
apparently.
Syria, Thomas Syria, is continuing, but another person?
No, I didn't know that.
So you can find like teens book about Tomek.
Really?
And then the latest one are written by another person, but still the story is continuing.
Why? I did not know. It would make a very good TV series or something like that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
He would.
For kids, yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, and not only. So reading these books got you interested in Africa as what when you were
yeah,
little
exactly.
girl, I guess,
but in general, I don't like lying on the beach. I like doing some physical activities. So Africa is, I think, is a good place to do all of this. So meet animals, do some trekkings, do some raftings as adventures, meeting people, colorful people, different culture, and those elements, those things make me so happy in Africa. That's why maybe I visited this continent over 50 times.
50 times?
Yes.
That's a lot, isn't it? Yeah, and how many people do you take on a, when you go on one of these journeys, how many people do you take with you?
Those groups are very small. The smallest one were 3 people, and the biggest one was 14. So in general, it's like 10, 9, 11, like this.
So, so it's a manageable. That's a manageable group for you. Yeah?
It's not about this. People are not very. They are afraid. People are afraid of Africa, and collecting big groups like 50 people, I think it's not possible.
Yeah.
And sometimes
that would be too many anyway. It wouldn't be fun, would it? I mean, it'd be good money, but it wouldn't necessarily be fun, would it?
I think you cannot enjoy the trip if you are in a so big group. Like me, it's also very much easier working with a little group because I can concentrate on every person and I can find their needs, and it's so much easier to solve the problems. But on the other hand, if people know we are small, everybody can show up their own needs, and there are much more needs to prepare to solve the problems, and people are much more open, which I really like.
Well, good. I think it sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. Tell me, what are some of the most interesting places you've been? Not just Africa, but if you had to pick, say, 3 of your favorite places, could you do it, or do you just like them all?
It's difficult to say because a lot of people are asking me, "Oh, Eva, you've been everywhere. Try to give me a country which I have to see." But there's difficult to say because maybe you are interested more in food, maybe more in culture, maybe more in nature. And if you want to see nature, probably you will not visit China because China is full of history. Or if you want to see history, probably you will not go to, I don't know, Madagascar. Because it's...
Why, there's no history in Madagascar?
The history is very little, but mainly Madagascar is a nature. And lemurs and national parks and mountains to do some hiking.
I always wonder how the animals got there. It's an island, right?
Yes, it was an island.
Last time I checked.
You know, there is ages ago, million ages ago, there were one huge continent. It calls Gondwana in Polish. And after the time, it's separated for the different lands, different continents. And Madagascar was one of the first land separated. And those animals you can find on the island are very, first of all, endangered. They are endemics. You cannot find them.
They have specific animals you can only find there.
Of course.
So like Tasmania has specific animals.
Yes,
you can only
lemurs
find
are,
there.
in general, some lemurs you can find there. There are, I think, 7 kinds of baobab, and all of them of baobab tree.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Baobab tree, and the majority of them you can find only in Madagascar. Of course, some you can find on the Indian Ocean coast, but the biggest variety you can find on Madagascar, or chameleons. Some species only in Madagascar.
I did not know that. I did not know about the chameleons of Madagascar. What about some of the more? Those are some of your favorite places. But I saw on your YouTube, you have a bunch of nice clips there, and I saw one of those was you were looking for gorillas.
Yes, I was.
I mean, not fighters, not partisans, but the animal, right?
Yes.
How did that go?
There are some places in the world, in Uganda, Rwanda, and Congo, where we can find a few families of mountain gorillas. And it's a great adventure to see them, especially you need to do have some physical attitudes because we need to climb a little bit.
You have to go hiking into the
what is funny,
jungle.
You can choose easy way or difficult way, but easy way, where is flat, it takes 8 hours to find them. But if you want more difficult route, it takes 1.5 hours. So
1.5 hours. So you take the difficult route.
Unfortunately, my guests were not physically ready.
Physically fit enough or ready.
So they decide to do longer. But they said
that's a long walk, 8 hours.
Yes, but if you see them after 1 hour, you say, oh, it's like this. But if you walk and search, and then you have rain, which you feel like nothing can be dry after, and your shoes are also wet. There is a muddy path, and you feel you need a lot of difficulties. Then you remember, I did something great. But if it takes,
reminds me of Warsaw in the winter, and the muddy path. Yeah,
muddy path.
The muddy path, and not quite so warm. So there you are. You are hiking through the jungle, and eventually you get there. Now, how do you approach gorillas?
There is you cannot do it by yourself. I did it in Congo and Uganda twice, and usually you need to buy special permit, but with a long in advance. Much long, because a lot of people wants to go. Even the price, which is so high, doesn't stop people, because in Uganda it costs nearly $900 per entrance per person. In Rwanda it's $1,500 per person per entrance, and it's not guaranteed to see them. But in general, you need to. So
it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah. Yes, because you are going to their home, and it's nothing guaranteed. We have a team with us as a guide, as some people who uses GPS to locate them, and there are some people who enter to the forest much earlier to search them. So there's a big team joining. And it's so, and not every family you can visit, because some of them are not habituated. It goes like this. It means they are ready to meet people.
They're not ready for people.
Yes.
Okay, the ones who are ready for people. Let's assume there's a gorilla family.
Yes.
In their gorilla house, and they're ready for people.
Yes, and they are big, the silverback.
They're huge, gorillas.
300 kilograms.
Yeah.
And so you can come you can be in a distance like me and you now.
Really?
Yes, for sure you cannot touch them, but they can touch you.
And do they?
They do.
They touch you?
In Congo. But
yes?
not in
What do they do? They just touch your hair or something like that?
It was like this, look in my eyes and just move. I was like, ah!
Wow, that sounds crazy. So the gorilla, this huge gorilla, it's like King Kong, isn't it?
Yes, like this. If you watched King Kong, it's the same figure.
And so what is that feeling when you're right next to the gorilla and it reaches out to touch you? How do you feel?
I lost my tongue to describe. It's first of all, you are happy because after many hours of walk, you see the thing you want to see, and then it's so easy to notice how common with humans they are. They eat similar. They have their hands are similar. Their body looks like, of course, a bit different, but like human body. And then there is another experience. They are coming to you and look at you, and they, for example, they are hanged on the trees and look at you and think like, you're a friend of me, but it looked a bit different.
They think, oh, you're like me, but you're just a little bit different.
Yes, you're like me, but please don't go this way because my food is here, or I'm nicely hanged on the tree, but please don't disturb me. Take a picture, of course, no problem, but keep a distance.
But let's not get too friendly till we know each other a little better. Yeah.
So nice. So far, I wish to do it once again.
I heard that chimpanzees. It sounds great. I'd like to do that. I mean, you've seen a gorilla in the zoo. I mean, everybody's seen a gorilla, or everyone can see a gorilla in the zoo.
You can go to Warsaw Zoo. They have
even
gorillas.
Warsaw Zoo, right? Yeah.
They have gorillas.
But the chimpanzees, the gorillas seem fairly relaxed. But the chimpanzees seem pretty crazy.
Yes, you know, if you search them in the forest, you have to be very fast because they move very fast. And if you receive information, gorillas are so close. You need to run through the forest because you can lose them.
They'll go quickly.
Yes.
Did you see chimpanzees in the wild?
Yes.
But you shouldn't approach them, right?
You know, they also come very close.
They do. Okay.
They do.
And you're not afraid of them?
No, I experienced situation like chimp was eating bamboo, and then look at me and he said, "Okay, I'm relaxing," and he was like lie down like this, doing nothing.
Were.
Him.
He was. Oh, he just relaxed. He said, "Oh, okay."
Okay, take a picture if you want.
Yeah, so he wasn't bothered by you at all.
No.
Yeah, I guess. But they say that chimpanzees are very dangerous because they will attack.
They could, but also
each other. For a start.
Yes, because there are some families.
But gorillas don't do that, but chimpanzees do.
Because
I think that's
chimps are living in the families, and they are very territorial, and sometimes they need to fight for food. Unfortunately, forest is too small for that big amount of monkeys, and they are fighting for food. People are cutting trees, and this is one reason why they are fighting.
Listen, stay with us. We're going to come right back. We're going to show you some clips from YouTube, from some of Eva's adventures worth looking at. So we'll take a break for that and come right back with more from Eva Chojnowska Lesiak, adventure tour guide, former model, and obviously all-round beautiful and nice person. We'll be right back.
Dzień dobry.
Co i jak spakować się do Afryki? T-shirty. Unikamy w Afryce raczej krótkich ramionczek, takich bardzo, no chyba, że jedziemy na safari, jesteśmy tylko w swoim towarzystwie i raczej nie obcujemy z lokalną kulturą.
Hiyo inaendaga hiyo Bairodi inaendaga si kama hizo hapa.
Trzy połowa i od nowa, a to resztę wy...
No i tak po garstce biorą. Dobra. Jak się do tego zabrać, to nie wiem jak to się nazywa. Voilà. To też chyba coś jest.
Słuchajcie, i trafiłam do Pili Pili House, hotelu prowadzonego przez Polaków na Zanzibarze.
We're back with Eva Chojnowska Lesiak, who is an adventure tour guide. And not only that, a very nice and a very beautiful lady. And since we've only had men on the show up to this time, I'm really glad that we finally got a woman to come in and be a lot more interesting than all those guys were. And talking about something that I really like, which is traveling. I guess everybody likes traveling now. If you ask young people what's number one on their list, they probably say traveling, and with good reason. I've been doing it for a little while myself and living in different places, but Eva does it for a job, leading adventure tours.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I hope you like those clips that we just showed of some of Eva's adventures. Eva, I have a very important question, because it's all about me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not all about me, but it's about if you were to recommend a tour for me, which one would you recommend?
You are very welcome to join to my trip to Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Okay,
Ethiopia.
When's that? I'd like to do it.
At the end of the year, end of November, and I think it takes 16 days. And of course it will be adventure, because we are going to visit tribes, and maybe Ethiopia is the most, in case of anthropology and tribes, the biggest diversity of this. And we are going to visit the hottest place, one of the hottest places in the world, Danakil Depression, and the biggest depression in Africa as well. So it's also also a great adventure. So you're so welcome to join me.
When is it going to be again?
End of November.
End of next November.
This year.
I have to get a piggy bank and start putting my money in it to save for the ticket.
Definitely, you will love this trip, especially if you like traveling and you would like to visit places without so many tourists. That would be a great decision.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, I remember one time, I've always wanted to go to Ethiopia. It's very romantic, and so it has I mean, I know they had the famine there and stuff, but that's just a small part of their history. But the Haile Selassie
of course.
History and the book by Richard Kapuscinski, him I had the pleasure to know when I was starting as writing myself as a journalist. He was a good man, and love his books. And he wrote a very good one about Ethiopia, the Emperor, right? Yeah. And then one time I was sitting on an airplane coming from, I don't know, I think it was coming back to Warsaw, but I can't remember where from. But it was somewhere, maybe Paris, let's say, for example. And next to me was a fella who we talked the whole time. He said, I've just come from Africa. I've been in Ethiopia. And I said, oh, wow, tell me about that, because that sounds fascinating. And we talked for almost the whole flight. It's about 2 hours from Paris to Warsaw. And at the end, I said, oh, good Lord, we should stay in touch, because this is a great conversation, because he was an expert on Ethiopia. And then he gives me his card. He was the Polish ambassador.
Oh,
to Ethiopia.
Maybe I met him, because I know Polish representation.
Is it the same guy? He's a big guy.
I mean, very tall.
Very tall guy, big guy. Did he have glasses? I can't remember.
I think so.
It's been about 10 years.
Yeah, so maybe not this person. But in general, you know, I'm traveling around Poland with some pictures and speeches.
Yeah.
And I have one about...
You're making speeches?
Yes.
Wow.
And
speeches
are
fun. Are they fun? It's hard, isn't it?
I like it.
You like it.
I like it because my work
natural.
is permanent talking. So
oh, right, okay. So you're always talking, so you're not shy
as you
anymore.
see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And one of this speech, it calls Three Faces of Ethiopia. Because in general, if you think about Ethiopia, what do you think about Ethiopia? First thought.
Well, I mean, I think the first thing I think about Ethiopia, I said before, is Haile Selassie. I think about...
But nowadays.
Beautiful women.
Yeah, right.
Am I right? Is that what you're going to say that?
Yes, I'm lady. I'm saying there are the most beautiful ladies there.
Yeah, when we were filming for my travel show, which has not so far left Warsaw, but will soon. When we were filming for that, we were filming at the Hard Rock Cafe, and there was a fella there, an American guy, and as I was walking by the table after we finished filming, he said, hey, come over here. And I went over there, I said, hi, what's up? And he goes, my name is this, and what you filming for? And I said, oh, it's a travel show. And I got talking to him, and he had a lady with him, and she was very striking, and it turned out She was his Ethiopian wife. Yeah, and she was very, very beautiful.
Yeah, but you know, my speech is about three phases of Ethiopia. So first part is desert. Second part is our tribes, and the last one is the religious part, because you can't.
So not beautiful ladies.
I think can be another phase. I will add another phases later. But in general, if you go to Ethiopia, and if you travel to the different regions, you meet the different countries. In the one country, but different faces. And if you ask somebody which part you like the most, it depends.
Yeah.
Because some people like history, just go to the north and see churches, rock churches, which should be, and they are on the UNESCO list. There are some places in UNESCO list. If you like culture, if you like adventure, and you like people, just go to the south. You can see in this very small area over 30 different groups of people living totally different. They dress totally different, and they have totally different rules ruling their life. But if you want to be dirty, if you want sun, and if you want to, I
don't know about being dirty.
But how you can be without water on a desert?
Oh,
Sweating plus sand.
So it's going to be like one of those movies where everybody's all sweaty.
So there's one country but different.
I've been in the jungle before. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, sure. In Nicaragua, quite a lot.
This is my also dream to visit there.
Oh, it's beautiful. I lived there almost 2 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting country, and now very high on the list of places that people want to go to. I mean, I was looking at a list from Forbes, I think.
Yesterday or 2 days ago, somebody told me that in the middle of Nicaraguan jungle, they have found very old city, even older, very old city and well preserved, and there are archaeologists working there.
When did they find it?
Like 1 year ago,
Yeah, but I didn't know about that. But I always thought that there might be something there. It's a very intense jungle there. And
they have found a city, and it's very well preserved, and archaeologists are working, and also tourists can enter there.
Do they think it's Mayan or something? Do they know?
I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, but Nicaragua is amazing. I mean, you arrive in the airport, and you look. They have big windows in the main lounge area, and you're walking through there to go and get your taxi or get picked up or whatever, and you see a huge volcano, the Messiah volcano. It's very close, and it's active. So you know immediately you're in this sort of prehistoric, primeval place.
You have adrenaline, and the adventure can start.
Yeah, right from the beginning, and you know where you are. You see it, and you know where you are. And I guess they put that, I don't know if that's there, so you get this great window, because it just looks like a painting. Wow. And this massive volcano, and it's smoking.
Did you climb this volcano or something?
Yes. Yeah, you go. Yeah, there's a park there, a national park. It's protected with the rangers and all that sort of thing. And you can go walk right up to the top. Yeah, you can walk around a lot of the rim. I don't think all of it, but you can walk around a lot of the rim, look down into it.
So if you go with me to Danakil, you will also climb the volcano, and you can see the red color red lava inside.
Where is this? Where is Danakil?
Danakil in Ethiopia.
Oh, in Ethiopia.
In Ethiopia, okay, and you will sleep on the top of this volcano, hearing hell, because it's like a hell, smelling
the
hell.
The bubbling and the
yes, you will
sulfur.
hear like the gas from the lava is coming out, and you will smell because everywhere it's. I don't know. There is a special smell, and you can see that this lava is working. It's real hell.
Yeah, it's surreal. It's like the center of the earth bubbling up to the top.
Exactly.
And there's some kind of a sense of the amazing, beyond comprehension almost force of nature that it could explode at any time. But it's amazing to me that these volcanoes don't explode more often. Of course, in Nicaragua they do from time to time. They had one in 1971. This is an interesting story. You want to hear it? Can I tell you a little story? Okay. In 1971, Howard Hughes was living in a hotel in downtown Managua, the capital of Nicaragua, which is by a lake. And there's a couple of volcanoes very nearby, and the Messiah volcano is the next. There's like a line of volcanoes. And he was staying, he had rented the whole top floor. Howard Hughes was the richest man in the world at that time. Maybe J. Paul Getty, but they were the richest guys. So this is a hugely powerful guy. And he was staying in Nicaragua. He rented the whole top of the hotel, and there was a huge earthquake. And do you know, every building over a few stories, like 3 or 4, 5 stories, fell down, except the building where Howard Hughes was. It scared him so much that he immediately left the country. He got rescued and immediately left the country, never went back. I think he went to the Bahamas. Now, right after that, I think it was 1971, the Rolling Stones did a big benefit concert for Nicaragua because Mick Jagger's, I don't know if he was married to her or it was his girlfriend, still just at the time, Bianca Jagger, was from, she was a model from Nicaragua that he had met, you know, this jet-setting model, you know, in the early days when all this stuff was starting. I have
experienced the earthquake once.
Where were you? It
was in Mexico, but it was not very strong. But at night, I woke up and I felt.
You actually felt it, right?
It's something going on.
What's it like?
Like on a hammock.
Like you're in a hammock and everything's just kind of moving. Do you feel disorientated? Or
no. I just woke up and I thought, it's something is going on, and it took like maximum 10 minutes, and then I went to sleep.
You just went back to sleep.
And in the morning I found out that was earthquake.
It was an earthquake. Yeah, I've lived in California. I've lived in Nicaragua for reasonable amounts of time. Never in an earthquake. So if you don't want earthquakes where you are, I have to come and live there. There'll never be one. Apparently. Now, everybody else I know lived in California, Nicaragua. They felt an earthquake, not me. Yeah. So I don't know what that's all about. If you, you say, oh yeah, before you were saying that you're writing your blog, and you hardly ever have time for that.
Yes, you know, the thing is, I'm so happy because I travel a lot, and I spend sometimes nearly 270 days out of Poland. But on the other hand, I have huge pressure from inside to write about that. But I don't have time because if I come back, I need to prepare for another trip. Sometimes I'm only 15 or 10 hours between one flight to another flight. It's even so difficult to repack my luggage. And like right now, I didn't travel 3 weeks, which is a lot for me. And this is time for me to.
We're lucky to get you to come into the studio.
Yeah, to fulfill my wish to write a blog. Also, I would like to write a book, but the blogging is still my passion so much.
Yeah, I understand. It seems to me that a lot of people nowadays. I talk to these the people in this who understand the technical side of getting viewers, right?
SEO.
Right, and they say to me... Engagements, etc. Yeah, that the best way to get to people is just to do a video instead of writing, because people don't want to read even a short
You are
thing.
right.
What do you think about that? I mean, it's a shame that people don't want to read, if that's true.
You are right. The truth is that people are a bit lazy to lose time for reading. The word is digitalizing, and you can see how big is Instagram now, where pictures are the main source of giving information. Very little people are reading descriptions below. Like myself, I don't imagine making videos during my trips because client is a main point, and to make a video you need to go somewhere and take your own time, which is not possible for me. If you want to be a professional tour guide, it's not possible. So
you have to be focused all the time on them, not
exactly.
yourself.
Exactly.
That's your job.
Even when I'm on a trip like 2-3 weeks, if I take a picture of me, like 4 good pictures, I'm so happy.
It's rare. Yeah.
It's so rare because it's difficult for me to ask my client, oh, please take a picture of me. They are the most important, not me. So the only thing I can do, it's not maybe the only thing, but I try my best to write a blog, and you can find very detailed information about not very common places. That's why maybe I'm very recognized in Poland regarding to Africa, because not many people are traveling to Africa so often.
And not, I mean, you say 50 times. That's a lot.
Yes, I think
of times. I mean, I don't think I've traveled anywhere 50 times, except the United States and Europe. Yeah. But not even one place. That's not one continent. Well, maybe to the States, I suppose. Must have been true by now.
Once I wanted to count all my flights during 1 year, but I stopped because there were so many.
You have a huge amount of miles? Do you have a lot of free flights?
No way.
No?
No.
You have a huge amount of miles there, right?
But from my experience, I know it doesn't...
It's hard to use them.
Of course, it's worth in some cases, but it's not a big deal to have a miles.
No, because what does it get you?
Anyway, you need to pay taxes, and it's like 30 or max or 50% of the ticket cost.
Is that it? Yeah.
So I change points into cosmetics.
Into cosmetics. So you just go through you shop in the magazine and use your points that way.
Yes, because the difference between price in internet, if I want to buy, and price from the airline and using the points, it's just a little bit.
Yeah, and you might as well just do it or you get a better break on the internet, probably. Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, last time I had a bunch of miles, it came time. I couldn't use them because trying to use them was taking more time than trying to figure out how to use those miles. It made no sense.
And people really don't want to help you, from my experience.
I agree, yeah.
So difficult to get any information.
Yeah, they're just like, what? Miles? Talk to this person.
Yeah.
And so I suppose if you and I both have that experience, maybe you have that experience too, right in below the...
Yes, please, I will read.
We will read it right in below the story, below this story, or this interview, whatever it is. It's an interview. It's a story. It's a series of stories, isn't it? I'm wondering also. One of your things you were doing was you were rafting in Uganda. Now I was just watching a movie called Shout at the Devil. It's an old movie. And it has Lee Marvin and Roger Moore, the James Bond figure. And, of course, Lee Marvin, one of my all-time favorites. But hilarious actor, but also very, very good as a tough guy as well. Yeah. He's a wonderful guy. But this movie takes place in Uganda, I believe. Where's the big lake? Lake Victoria, isn't it?
Yeah.
And... does the ocean come in, or a river comes into Lake Victoria?
There is a river Nile. And there are some places where Nile can start, and there is no specific place then to say for sure. But one is in Jinja in Uganda. It's in the middle of not maybe in the middle, but in Victoria Lake, and there are few sources of Nile.
I think so, because you can also come from the ocean in there somehow.
No.
If you go up the river.
No, there is
it's cut off?
As far as I know.
It's cut off?
There is one in Ethiopia, in Tana Lake, and another one is in Victoria Lake, and it connects in Omdurman, in Sudan, in Khartoum, and then it goes to the one spring, one line. But also, a few weeks ago, I found information that also in Rwanda we can see another source of Nile.
So there's so the Nile is gathering a lot of steam up.
And still we don't know
which
river is longer, Amazon River or Nile River.
because it's hard to trace the actual source to
Exactly.
its last point because
Exactly.
of the dense jungle, right? Is that
Yes.
it? Yeah.
But
Sandy-
rafting, you have to, if you go to Uganda, one of the attraction is also rafting
Yeah.
on the White Nile, and
Yeah.
it's a great experience because I took full day tour, and it's 6 rapids, and out of 6 rapids, 4 are level of 5. And 2 are level of 4, which 5, as far as I know, is the highest, is the more difficult one.
So this, where does which river? This is the White Nile.
White Nile.
The White Nile, and this is going. Where does it flow from? This particular part that you're on. Where is it exactly?
In Jinja, in Uganda.
Yeah. Okay.
In it's city Jinja. If you want to take a boat to see the source of Nile, which is the stick in the middle of the lake, so you can say that in Jinja it's the source of Nile inside Victoria Lake.
And is it very dangerous doing this rafting? Have you ever had any accidents? Or?
When I was the first time, I broke my nose.
You broke your nose?
and for example, the staff with us were without teeth because the paddle is easy to lose and it hits your teeth. It's so
the
common.
paddle?
Yeah.
You're using a paddle and this can go in your mouth?
You know, if you go to the rapids, the boat is... the water can do everything with this boat, and sometimes it goes like this.
Yeah.
And if you fall down from the boat, you can lose the paddle, and it goes somewhere. You don't know where, and your neighbor can lose your teeth.
Good Lord.
Or if you don't behave well, don't go with the instructions, you can do by yourself. Because if, for example, you need to put the pedal here. If you fall down, you just fall down. But if you put it here, it's so easy to break your teeth.
Wow. So you got to wear, it's like American football, you need a mouthpiece or something to go rafting on the... That sounds incredibly... You're very brave. I like that. That is amazing. You were also in the... practicing in, was it Nepal? For the Himalayan base camp? Where was that?
Himalaya Base Camp, it's a special event in Poland.
Oh, it's in Poland. Okay.
Yes, it's a special event in Poland when you can try to experience how climbers can live when they are climbing. For example, you find out how to use lines. I don't know the special English words to describe, but
you mean climbing lines?
Climbing lines, and I spent one night.
Ropes. Yeah.
Yes, I have spent one night on a wall, on a special tent, which was hanged on the wall 25 meters up. It's a great experience as well.
Yee. I don't think I'd like to do that.
This kind of event also can learn you how to behave in the mountains, how to use devices, how to first aid rules, and how to behave in the mountains in winter when you can have huge snow. Also avalanche courses. Everything is connected about security in the mountain. It doesn't matter if it's winter edition or summer edition. I think it's good for people who want to start their adventure in the mountains. It doesn't matter if they want to just walk or they want to take some more. For example, I don't know, to climb Matterhorn, which you need ropes and special devices and some attitudes to do that. For example, last year I was on, it calls winter camp, when I started loving mountains, but so hard, and it was a kind of spark to do much more. I wish to climb Kilimanjaro this year.
Are you going to? Is it climbing or walking? Kilimanjaro?
It depends of route you take. The most popular are Machame, which is only walk, but there are some you need special equipment.
Yeah, I would love to go to the top of Kilimanjaro. It must be an amazing view.
I'm working
on that. It's so high above
to
the plain, and you can see everything. what's the height of Kilimanjaro? It's
508. It depends of the list. 5,865.
Yeah, so that's a very tall mountain to be able to walk to the top. It's probably the only one in the world where you can walk so high.
Yes, this is
without climbing.
Yes, this is the one of the. This is one of the highest without any special equipment. You just need to have good clothes, good shoes, and do some physical
fitness. Yeah.
Fitness.
I mean, be able to walk.
Yeah.
And because
the most important, the most difficult thing is the altitude and
that's what you say. The altitude is
the
very
limit of oxygen.
Yeah, because you got to be able to breathe. When you're walking, because you're still walking up.
Yeah.
And that probably takes
my route
some
takes
adjustment.
7 days, and there are 3 days of acclimatization where we are.
7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm preparing for the route, where 3 days we are nearly at the same altitude, which is like 4,300.
Right.
But still it's a lot. If you want to do some walk, it's so difficult. It's very difficult. But I hope I will make it.
No, it's not. You've never done it before. This is the first time. Have you ever done any high mountain climbing?
The highest peak I did was
3,000?
3,711.
Where?
But it was in Rwanda. But the highest altitude I've been was 5,300 in Tibet.
In Tibet. So you were in Tibet.
I was
just
in
not
Tibet.
in this base camp practice was
No.
So you've actually been pretty high up in Tibet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so difficult. I had difficulties to leave a bus. I felt dizzy, but it was interesting feeling. Interesting feeling.
Well, I feel a bit dizzy after talking to you, because it's not only are you a beautiful lady and a very interesting lady, we were very glad to have you on the show, and I hope you'll come back. I'm going to start saving money for Ethiopia.
You're so welcome for my trip.
Yeah, it'd be great. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
It's been a great pleasure. Okay, that's Eva Chojnowska Lesiak, who is an adventure tour guide. You can find some directions to her at the credits of our program. And if you want to go on a great tour, I recommend going with the wonderful Eva. Okay? So it's been fun. It's been great being with you again on There's a Will. Stay tuned. Look at our previous shows, and stay tuned for more fun and lots of action on There's a Will. See you next time, and thanks for watching.